Okay, so let's go to AWS Certificate Manager. You can search certificate here and it will show up the certificate manager. You can click on this asterisk, so it will be available here as your favorites also. So click here. So let's talk about what exactly it is. AWS Certificate Manager is service which allows you to request a public certificate from Amazon or a private certificate from your organization certificate authority. You can request a certificate here, or you can also import a certificate that you have probably obtained outside of AWS. And how it works, so you request or import a TSL SSL certificate that you would like to use in your AWS account. Once you have the certificate, you need to validate the ownership of that certificate. There are two options for that. You can use a domain name system or email validation to complete certificate issuance. So it's very important that you have access to your DNS service. If you are using your third party registrar DNS service, then you need to have access to that. Or if you are using Route 53, then you will already have the access for your DNS service. So you can use that for your certificate validation. Another option is email validation. So this is a little tricky because when you purchase a domain, you need to know the exact email address that you had used when you purchased that domain. And when you will try to issue a certificate from Amazon Certificate Manager for that particular domain, and you will use email validation for your domain, for your certificate, it will send email to that email address which you have used for when you purchase that domain. So make sure that you have that access to that email also. If it is pretty old email and you don't remember, then it's good to go with DNS validation because it will be easy. Now the third thing is use your newly issued or imported certificate in various AWS services. You can use that with the Elastic Load Balancer, Amazon CloudFront. So we will use the certificate which we will issue from here in Amazon CloudFront when we will create the Amazon CloudFront distribution for our S3 buckets which we have created for our website hosting. So that's in short about the certificate manager. So let's go to request a certificate. And here we can click on request a public certificate because we are requesting it for our public website, public facing website. Click here, next, and then provide the fully qualified domain name. So you can provide the root domain name here like cloudwithharry.com, and then you can add another names to the certificate. So this certificate can be applied to root domain and any subdomains that you would like to create later on. And it's very difficult to know at this particular time like what are the subdomains that you will use in future. So it's always good to go with a wildcard character like asterisk and then cloudwithharry.com. So this would allow you to use this certificate with any subdomain that you will create with this root domain in future. With that, you should be good with domain names. And then in here in the validation method, you need to choose DNS validation, which is recommended by AWS also. And for algorithm, you can keep RSA 2048. RSA is the most widely used key type, so we can use the default and then click request. So now we can see that a certificate status is currently showing as pending validation. We need to validate this certificate via DNS validation method. And you can see that for these domains, we requested the certificate, and this is the CNAME type, this is the CNAME, and this is the CNAME value. So what we need to do now is basically add these CNAME records in our DNS or public hosted zone that we have created for our domain. So you can see that both are same. We just need to add one record in our hosted zone, public hosted zone for this domain. And once we will add this CNAME value or a record in our DNS, then Amazon Certificate Manager will automatically try to validate this certificate, and after some time the status will change to validated. So let's go to Route 53. We can open Route 53 from here also. Open this in a new tab and we can go to the hosted zones, and here is the Cloud with Harry hosted zone, and here we can create a record, and the record name will be this, the CNAME which is given to us here. So you can copy that and go back to Route 53 and just paste it over here. Make sure you remove this dot cloudwithharry.com because it's already added here. So we just have to use the the prefix or the first value for the name, and rest is already there. And for the value, we need to again copy the value from here. Sorry, this is the value from here, and then paste it here. and this is a CNAME type record, right? So we have to change this to CNAME. CNAME is route traffic to another domain name of the same AWS resource, some AWS resources. So just change the record type to CNAME. So we have added the record name, we have added a record type as CNAME, we have added the record value. This is something that you can keep, default. This is time to live. Just click on create record. All right, so we have created a CNAME record for DNS validation of our AWS SSL certificate that we just got from AWS Certificate Manager. So let's try to refresh that and see if we are getting the approved or status, which is something other than pending validation. So I think it will take some time for AWS Certificate Manager to get this validation done. So meanwhile, I'll pause the video and I'll keep monitoring this. As soon as it shows that it's approved, I will come back and then we can talk more about what we need to do next.